Hi, everybody. So I'm going to make this short. I'm going to try to make this as short as possible, but I was just stunned at what I was hearing from the appointments. I take appointments on Tuesdays to help whoever's stuck in this new financial system, figure things out. I usually recommend, obviously, the crypto class, the 2-hour crypto class that I did with the PowerPoints and everything. I spent 2 hours for the foundations, just telling everybody, and a PowerPoint goes with it. And I usually tell them, if you're a beginner, start there. And then if you still need help, I'll help you on Tuesdays. So this was one of those situations, and I'm talking to her, and she says, oh my goodness, I need help in this. Yes, but I've got to tell you this. She said, I've been a banker. I no longer am. They actually fired me. Well, relieved me. Let me go, I guess, to no fault of her own. They just let her go. And she's like, but I was a banker for 20 years. For all big banks, small banks, I was in banking. And she said, I just want you to know that what you're saying is absolutely the truth. She said, customers and just people around the world have no idea what these banks are doing behind the scenes and what they're preparing for. She says, I was working on, she's like, I would work on the biggest accounts where we're talking about these big ballers that would use our services to balance their books, and their bills would be $400,000 a month just to balance their books. That's just how much money, she goes, I would see and I was working with and what we were holding in these programs. And she said, I'm telling you that we were starting to use a program called, I wrote it down. She said, we were starting to use a program called ISO 2022. I think I wrote that down correctly. And she was really trying to get a grasp on this program. And she was talking to all of these developers and going like, what in the world am I using? Why am I using this? What's going on? And they told her, look, this is the new system that's being built that we're integrating into our bookkeeping to be able to accept digital currencies and blockchain technology for cross-border payments. And she says that once the banks get this fully integrated in, then everything goes live. She said, but for right now, the average customer and the average person has no idea what the banks are building behind the scenes. And she said, I was stunned. And she said, but I had to quietly work on these things with this blockchain cross-border payment technology. She said, and not really say much. Furthermore, her sister, now we're talking about her sister, worked in banking. She was the assistant to the CEO of a big, I can't really say which bank because that really narrowed it down, to the CEO of a big global bank, starts with a B. And she was saying how they would constantly have different meetings and things and different PowerPoint presentations and things like that of the video. She goes, the video you did yesterday stunned me in my spirit because I had titled the video yesterday, You Will Own Nothing and Be Happy. Well, I didn't make that up. That came from the G20 summit. That came from the World Forum. That's what they're saying. That's what Noah Ferrari and, Charles Schwab, all those creepy people, that's what they're saying. But she goes, it's really happening in the banks. She said, because the banks are doing these PowerPoint presentations, how all of this AI technology and all of these bots and how these institutions are building these live, work, play, stay places to where they're all just units of occupancy that nobody owns, but big institutions, big investors own, and nobody owns anything, but all of their needs are met. And she said they're building these everywhere, and all of the prices on homes and everything's inflating so that these big institutions can come in and buy neighborhoods, and you just rent from that company, and yet it's a neighborhood. They're doing this everywhere. They're making it more affordable by them gobbling up all of the neighborhoods, all of the homes, and then they're just putting everything up for rent. We'll be a renter nation. This came from the assistant of the CEO of this bank. She no longer is anymore, but she was looking at all of this. Guys, I'm telling you, like, I'm literally as close to the source. Like I'm hearing it from former bankers. I just had a meeting with her today where she's learning. She's been learning how to do all these cryptocurrency things when she found out the program that she was integrating into the software that she was using for the bank was being encrypted into the banking system for digital currency blockchain technology for cross-border payments. She said, I've been learning it ever since. It's taken me a couple years and I'm learning it. She's like, I no longer work for the banks, but I know where this is going and none of the people know where it's going. She's like, the scary thing is that when these banks go live with this, it'll be like a switch, boom. Remember how I was talking about it, the Lord gave me a vision of kind of like the man behind the curtain, like the Wizard of Oz, like there's a curtain, like things are going on behind the scenes, but there's a curtain. And then once the curtain's pulled back and you see what they've been doing behind the scenes, it's too late. It's too late because it's already developed, it's already structured, and you're just caught going, what do I do? Like, I don't know. So I was just telling you proof of what was fed to me today by someone who's been in the business for 20 years. They did let her go. And this is happening. A lot of the banking people, the average day people inputting numbers and balancing this and that, guess who's doing that now? Bots, AI technology, programs, chat GPT, AI, smart intelligence things, that's taking everyone's jobs. The most dangerous place, the people that are going to suffer are the ones that only have that one stream of income, that 9 to 5. If that is all you have, Solomon said, make sure, this is biblical. I'm just telling you biblical wisdom that the church has lacked for this entire church age. This is biblical. Something's coming that's going to devastate everybody, bring them to their knees financially. Biblically, the Lord said, have 7 streams of income, preferably 8. This is in Ecclesiastes. This comes from the wisest man that ever lived, Solomon. This was a gift given to him by God. If you only have one stream of income, you are not going to make it. You're in grave danger. If all you know is that one job that cuts you a check, listen, that person or that entity that cuts you a check, that's not your God, that's not your parent. They don't have any responsibility to take care of you as you age and get older, like at all. You're just exchanging your time, your labor for a little pocket change. That's all it is, for you to be able to feed and maybe pay a couple of bills, but there's nothing left over at the end of the month. That you're in grave danger. Okay, I told you yesterday on the video, and it solidified it today with this meeting that I had with beautiful sister who had been in banking for 20 years. She told me out of her mouth what the banks are doing behind the scenes. Told me out of her mouth. She said, the people don't know what's coming. And I said yesterday, I said, guys, if you don't know this, if you don't have a Goshen mentality, if you've got that 9 to 5 job and you're stuck in that slave mentality, you're not going to make it for what's coming. Something's coming, and it's going to be financial, and it's going to hurt. And remember what I said yesterday, the plan is to have no middle class. No middle class. Like, it's going to be super wealthy poverty. The middle class, the gap already is closing, but it's just going to close. It's going to slam shut. So get understanding about financial education. Get understanding about this digital market. This is so vital that you guys get this, because there's going to be one system that I teach, and I talk about it in my masterclass. One specific system that these banks are using. But until then, there's all this capital to be made to invest into this one system. It's going to be this mammoth monster of a system that is going to operate on the blockchain. Okay, and all of the countries and the banks in other countries are all coming on board with it, and they're all going to be linked with it. Each country right now will end up having probably their own digital currency. Us, the dollar, ruble for the Russians, yen for China, dong for Vietnamese. It'll be digital for a while, but at some point it'll all merge together. Okay, so there will be this graduating process. And I think what a lot of people are missing because they don't understand what I'm saying, they just think that I keep talking about money. No, I'm talking about an entire paradigm shift globally that will happen for all of us. Brown, yellow, white, purple. No matter what status you are in wealth, it is a paradigm shift. That's what I'm trying to get everyone to see. And people are not, because we've been under the fiat system for so long, it's not you're going to exchange your capital and what you're making in the digital assets for dollars or for fiat. Like we're not going to be exchanging it back into a system that's dead. No, like you're not going to take this and switch it into the US dollar or this fiat, because there won't be fiat. I guess that's what I'm trying to tell you. It'll be a new way of operation of how we know it to be. It'll gradually start happening, but by 2030, this is why this church you have when Tomi Ariyomi gave that prophecy that I've never forgotten. I talked about it yesterday. Church, you have 9 years. I never forgot it. And I was even at that time trying to teach people this new system, and it all started making sense. Oh my gosh, we've got 9 years to figure out this system, to get our affairs in order, get in our tribes, get right with the Lord, and especially financially. Okay, well, the 3 years have gone, and it's gone by like boom, like that. And I can't even tell you that I feel like I'm ready. But now we've got 6 years. And each year that passes is harder and harder and harder and harder and harder to climb out of this old system. Because the prices are getting higher, and the dollar is decreasing, and war has now erupted globally, and it'll continue. And then we have this financial crisis going to be specifically happening in our nation, and it won't be global yet, but the global one, the black horse, is coming, and I do believe that is going to happen around 2030. But the ones here in America, we're going to go through some economic problems first, pretty bad, before the big one comes. So if you're not set up before this one happens in the US, how do you think that you're going to be set up for the one that comes in 2030, for the black horse when it rides? You got to know it. You got to know the system now. And Solomon says 7 streams of income, preferably 8. Your 9 to 5 was never supposed to support you for the rest of your life, because they're not your caretaker. That little job that you have or did have or you have now was just supposed to get you enough for you to be able to springboard into what you were created and destined to do. You were not created and destined to be a 9 to 5 your entire life. That is to serve somebody else, to get a little jingle in your pocket, to be able to produce what the Lord put inside of you. Every person has an assignment. Every person has a calling. Every person has something they were supposed to build, something they were supposed to do. I talked about the public school systems yesterday and teachers. If you're called to teach, that wasn't a shame on you. Everyone pull your kids out of the public schools, because teachers have nobody to teach. But what I was saying is there's something the Lord has put inside of you. We'll go with the teachers. Teachers, if that is what you are called to do, and you have that gift, why don't you create your own curriculum that homeschool parents can buy, that you just sit down in your house or your classroom or whatever, and you teach them and you build your materials off of them? What if some of you who know how to farm and know how to plant and know how to do those things built an entire curriculum and had people show up on your property, homeschool parents or sects, and they paid you for that curriculum like a college? You got to pay per class. You got to pay per curriculum. And you taught them, those kids, how to sow. You taught them how to prep the soil. You taught them how to grow food. It was an entire semester for the homeschool sect. Teacher, if you're really, really good in science, math, and all this history stuff, create your own curriculum. Offer it to the homeschool people. We'll buy it. I'll buy it. Because, there's things that I can't do, but you can do. And that goes for any sect, guys. That goes for any sector. Pick what is inside of you that the Lord has put in you that you are good at. You know that there's something in you that you are good at. Because he put it in all of us. You have a talent. You have something that someone is going to pay for that's in you. And that is the kingdom economics. It's we all have something to contribute, and we all have something we need from one another. That is kingdom economics. Not you staying in a 9-to-5, serving someone for the rest of your life, getting a set paycheck and hoping that you have enough money to survive on as you age. No, that little 9-to-5 or that little job, that clerk job, that assistant, that whatever job was only supposed to give you pocket change for you to be able to develop the gifting the Lord put inside of you to build and build and build and build on. Okay? No small thinking should ever be in a Christian. No small thinking. If you don't have a vision outside of what you do on a day-to-day basis, you're thinking too small. Too small. Don't ever do that. Because you were born for more than that. I mean, you come from the Creator. You're like his DNA. The Bible says we are the sperm of God. And you mean to tell me that it was God's design for his only creation that looks just like him and has his DNA to small think? No. When God speaks, he creates, which means you are a little creator, which means you were born to create. See, Lucifer, he's a copycat. He can't create anything. He doesn't have the ability to create. You know what he does create? When you speak, you're creating. So he takes that and he creates with it. So if you are speaking negative and if you are cursing and all of those things, he takes that and he builds with what you create out of your mouth. You were born to create because your Father is the Creator. So you have the ability to create. Create what's inside of you. Create it. Know the system. I'm telling you, I talked to the banker today. She said, Lauren, you're absolutely right. And the ones who are not pursuing this or understanding this or getting involved in this system, once they flip that switch and it goes on, checkmate. And there is no coming out of poverty at that point. It'll be absolutely impossible because it'll be rigged against you because that's the beast system. And then you'll just have to wait for the Lord to rapture you out of here. You know, I mean, this is the great and terrible day of the Lord, but there has to be preparation for his return. There has to be preparation. Why did he write this all down in Revelation? Why did he write down the seals? Why did he write down the trumpets? Why did he write down the bowls if he didn't want us to know what was ahead and how to prepare and to look for it? And why did he always say, look for me, look for me, remember, those who look for me, those who keep the prophecies of this book will be blessed. Make sure you know the hour, for if you do not know the hour, the thief comes. Why would he say these things? If he didn't want you to be wise and prepare and understand the times and seasons that you're in, he's giving us like all of these tips and all of these. He wants you to do well because you are his child, because there's much to be built. You know, I was in the college town yesterday and I noticed that those kids, the college kids, they are so hungry for God. That they're looking for him and they don't know where to find him. And you know who I found were the hardest ones to even like reach out to or talk to was the baby boomers. Ages 55, like 60 and beyond. They would walk by me and they would just go, yeah, pray. You want to pray for, I pray for myself. I go to this Baptist church over here. I'm good. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of when the Lord says, woe to you who think you are rich and you have everything, and really you are the poorest. You know, the comfort, the rich. I've got this religion thing figured out. I go to this Baptist church over here. I'm 65. I've got my 401k. I got my retirement. I'm good. I don't need your prayers. Yet they're walking on a cane to the next store. You want me to pray for your leg? No, I got surgery 2 months ago. It's healing. Thank you. Well, don't look like it. 2 months ago, you're still wobbling. When I reached those kids, it's like every single time a college student would walk by with their dog or whatever, do you need prayer? I'm a preacher. I preach on Friday nights and I'm here praying for people. That's it. What can I pray for you for? Anything going on? They would tear up. Like some of them would I wouldn't even say anything. And they were just so ripe for the picking. The Lord is doing something. But guess what? We need money. We need money to get to these kids. Because you want to talk about an influx, and you're seeing it all over the place, guys. You're seeing these colleges begin to erupt in revival. Do you know how expensive that is? Do you know how many clogged toilets that is? Do you know how much toilet paper that is? Do you know how much food that is for all of the neighboring rest and everything around? And these churches are going to start being influxed in, especially with evangelists like me who are plugging all these people once the website's done into these churches. They're going to be flooded with new people. And babies are loud. Baby Christians, just like baby infants. They're loud, they're messy, they're expensive. They're going to need counseling. They're going to need more volunteers. We're going to need more people with them. They're going to be making stupid mistakes. They're going to be making good mistakes. We need money. And not only that, we need, how about money to fly these new converts to missions? Like, what if we were able to charter an entire 757 for the church, put all of these college kids on these flights, and because we're sending them out to missions? Why? Because they're hungry and they're ready to go. They are ready to work. They're ready. Send me to the Congo. I'll go. They're crazy on fire. We need money. So don't say that we don't need money, Jesus is coming. Well, you're going to be in big trouble with the king, because he said the one who didn't do anything with his talents, that just buried it in the sand, it could care less because the king was coming, the master was coming. What he had was taken, and then he was thrown to gnashing of teeth. What? Like, it just kept getting worse for that guy who decided to do nothing with what he had. So I'm just telling you guys, I talked to that banker today. I'm telling you the truth. I know it's hard. We don't want to be hearing these things and me talking about this all the time. But listen, I don't want nobody to struggle. I know what it feels like. And I don't want you guys to be sideswiped and say nobody told me. No, many of us have told you. Many of us have tried to give you things, education, and just letting you know the times and seasons that we're in. So please get into that church. Be in an on fire for Christian. Be on fire. Be baptized in the Holy Spirit. Be loyal to your church. You know, we need each other. We need each other. Some of you say, I don't need the church. I am the church. Well, you know what? It's not all about you. What about you helping the church? Because maybe they need you. Maybe they need you to go to pray for someone in that church. It says, if anyone's sick among you, go to the elders of the church. What if that's you? And you're not there because the church is, I am the church. Well, it's not all about you. What if they need you to pray for that person and you can get that person healed because you're a part of the tribe, you're a part of the family, you're a part of the fellowship? The family fight? Yeah. Are we always going to agree? No. But we should always love each other. And maybe we can't stand to be around each other all the time. That's okay. I mean, that's a family. But at least be a fellowship and let people know, hey, but you can call on me at any time. Like, I may not agree with everything you say, but I love you. And I'll pray for you. And we may have some different theological opinions, but they're not salvation issues. I mean, I'm going up in the rapture with you. We'll hold hands, even though we just fought yesterday. Right? Get to church. Get to church and learn this new system. Learn it. I'm tired of talking about it, but the Lord keeps push it. It's coming. Oh God, Lord, don't keep pushing it. I've been talking about it for years. Great miracles are coming. We're going to need money. And something's coming that if you're not ready for it, will devastate everybody. I mean, it's economic. It is, like I said yesterday, it's economic. It's geopolitical. It's infrastructure-wise. It's medical-wise, sicknesses. You got to be able to be free to get up and go when the Lord tells you to go somewhere and not be strapped and go, I'm poor. I guess I'm just going to die here. The tsunami wave is about to come and plow me, but I don't got money to put in my gas to even leave, so I'll just drown. So unnecessary. So do it now. Okay, I just wanted to tell you guys about the phone call I had with, or the appointment I had with the banker. Invest for yourself wisdom. You got to. Wisdom is not free. Bye, guys. See ya.